Hey guys, and welcome. Cool. Just went online also on Instagram. Hey, and welcome. This is Noemi Bolojan. I am founder of Scaleway. We are a digital marketing agency specialized in helping 6 to 7 figure sellers on Amazon with advertising. And right now, I see that I have a nose itch. Okay, cool. It's gone. So again, properly. Hey, Noemi here, founder of Scaleway. Today, we have one more session of our Amazon Ask Me Anything sessions. We are going to focus on Amazon ads, of course. And until we're going to start, just quickly I'm following up, making sure that everything is set in place. Right now, we are streaming on Instagram, LinkedIn, and also YouTube. So just making sure that I see any incoming questions. The purpose of the session is me answering all your Amazon-related questions. And of course, our cat is meowing. Allow me to let him in quickly. Be right back. Here it is. Quick intro to Hugh, our amazing kitty cat. Now, usually he is not on the set with me and I would not allow him in because sometimes he can be loud when I am closing the door. He wants out right away, of course, but right now there's a baby really nicely sleeping in the other room. And my husband really appreciated when I'm doing also everything on my end to make sure that the baby is continuing to sleep. Hence, cat is inside. All right, cool. So, a quick rundown of today's session. So we have these Amazon Ask Me Anything sessions when we, every Monday, we just allocate 45 minutes to go through all the questions that are Amazon ads related. Those are the ones that we're prioritizing. I personally like to prioritize beginner questions, especially because I know remembering 6 years ago when I started selling on Amazon and I had to learn the skill by myself. This is the moment what I was talking about, that the cat wants to go outside. Shh, come stay here. Come. So 6 years ago when I started selling on Amazon and I learned the skill by myself, I know how hard it was for me. And today's sessions are cute. Come here. Come stay here. So I know how hard it was for me to learn all those skills. And today's session is helping you if you're in my shoes or if you're already an achieved brand, but we are looking really to another perspective or seeing what could be the next strategy for your brand to scale on Amazon. This is why their sessions are. So the content basically is submitted questions. So I'm going to go through all the submitted questions, either through either of these channels, either questions that have been already submitted previously to me and we did not get to them, or they were DM'd to me. Really, the reason why we're doing this is making sure that you also have my perspective, since we've been running the agency for the past 6 years. And I see there are certain questions that always seem to be beginner, yet I personally am going to answer them differently year by year as it passes by because we are approaching things differently. Hugh, come here. Okay, then you're going out. And yes, these are live sessions. Hope that you enjoy my conversation with our cat. Cool. All right, we're 6 minutes in. Let's dig deep into the questions for today. All right, so the first question is, if my goals are unclear, do you help shape them or do you only execute against what I give you? So this is, I believe, for agency related questions. And the question is, if they don't know clearly their goals, would we help as agency to shape them or do you only execute against what I give you? So this is a great question. And here, I think it has to do a lot with taking a step back and realizing what an agency can be and what an agency should be and should not be. So when it comes down to ScaleWave, we love to see businesses have their business goals, right? So if you're a brand selling on Amazon and if you don't know your profit margins, that's already a huge red flag. Of course, we are going to help you with understanding what those margins are, because for us it's important that you are going to stay profitable and we're going to increase your bottom line as well, not only scale your revenue. So yes, we as an agency help with that as well. When it comes down to goals, clearly, what we are helping with mainly is not so much in guiding you what your goals should be, but rather if you have XYZ goal, what you need as a brand and what do we need as an agency to make sure that first off that goal is achievable, two, it's achievable within the timeline that you desire, and three, which are the current bottlenecks that you're facing that might be hindering you from achieving that goal. Clear example, we had a discussion with one of the brands that we are managing this year that they wanted to get to 10 million. Now this was out of the blue, right? We've been managing this brand for the past 3 years. New people came into marketing and they were like, yeah, we can do 10 million on Amazon. And it was a bit, it's an interesting conversation because they did not have this goal beforehand. So we as an agency, even if we had the skills to push, they inventory wise technically could not produce more. So this means that if your inventory does not allow you to scale, we as an agency can push more on advertising, yet you won't have any more inventory to sell, aka we are going to run you out of stock. And I remember that it was funny because again, goals. So you can have this big goal, 10 million, right? But realistically, this means that we would have had only 2 quarters to achieve that. And production-wise, first off, stop it. And production-wise, first off, they were not prepared. Second, it was like, okay, what other marketing strategy? And I was like, hey, right now, what we are doing already works. Allow us at least to stay within inventory, so first we will have inventory is not out of stock, and then we can see what is our next limit, because also we did not know what the next limit is. Of course, I can tell you that we can improve even more the images, we can improve the click-through rate, we can improve the A+ content, we can create more sponsor brand video and so on. And yes, while we can do all those things, we still did not got to see a glimpse of what is our next limit. So we did not know. And getting back to this, why it was an interesting story and why I'm sharing it with you is because technically we could have pushed the brand there. However, operationally, they did not have the means here to get there. And then here it was the conversation of once that we have inventory, then we can see our next, what is next for us to do, So when it comes down to goals are unclear, first, we will clarify the goals. What are your goals? And then based on those goals, we're going to say, hey, are these realistic? Are they not realistic? And if they are realistic, how much time do we approximate it's going to take, right? And here where you're asking, do you execute only against what I give you? There's nothing wrong also with agencies that are, or I would say VAs maybe, because agencies, if you're telling the agency what you want, that is kind of your trying to make sure that you are still on top of whatever is going on PPC, and you did not rented our brain, you rented your brain, you still keep using your brain and you rented someone else's time, which again can happen. But I usually am like, hey, you're paying us anyhow on a monthly basis, you're paying us for strategy, allow us to first execute, and then if you need explanation why we are doing certain things, we can share them with you. All right, this was an in-depth question, in-depth answer. Really hope that you enjoyed that and it was helpful. Now, next question is, okay, so I think this is the same tip, same person, and it's again agency. So why do some agency relationships fail even when the agency is technically doing the work? Brilliant. So again, from my experience, when it comes down to this, it is because there are miscommunication, misalignment when it comes down to expectations, and then 3, there's a lot of similar to the first question of, hey, I'm going to hire you, yet I'm still in control of whatever is going down strategy-wise for your department, and allow me to expand on that. So I remember last year. When was this? Last year, I think. Yes, and it was this bigger brand. It's a 7-figure per year brand. Yeah, almost 8-figure per year brand. They were selling on Amazon. They were considering us and 4 more agencies to take over their Amazon presence. Currently, they were also using an agency, and what they did not like is that whenever they were provided reporting, come stay here, you're not going outside. Whenever the other agency who managed their ads were providing reporting, they provided a lot of numbers, a lot of like facts, a lot of like things that they did not understood. And theoretically, what happened is this was one of the reasons why they decided that, hey, we want to try out someone else, someone new, right? So when it comes down to agency relationship fail, even when the agency is technically doing the work, the agency was doing the work, but in the sense of providing, the brand did not see the value, right? And when something happened, they did not explain of why happened and what's going on, so it was very like left brain information. So this is one of the examples that I personally witnessed. Now, of course, it can be, hey, it might be that the agency is technically doing the work. Again, another example to what happened to us is I think again last year we managed a brand that was doing really well 2-3 years ago, like before they came to us, and they wanted to achieve the same results and even to grow their revenue more on Amazon. And what happened is that once that we took on the brand and then we started managing, this first month it was great because we optimized and we helped them with reducing their ACOS and we made the account profitable. Now the next month what happened is that we wanted to increase sales, and what we noticed is that the same keywords they were using 2-3 years ago that were successful for them, if we would be running in exact match advertising for those. And why I'm specifying exact match is because really important, if you are running ads in exact match and still people who you're showing your product, they are not converting, it means that there is a conversion issue. It's not a is this relevant, is this not, it's no conversion issue. So what we did on our end, we took their top 4-5 competitors. We ran a pig food test, which is an A/B testing, polling to see what do people who are our target audience genuinely would click on whenever looking for the specific keyword. And through that data, we show that, look, all these competitors of yours, their main image, even, it's way better than ours. So technically, even if in exact match we are running perfect targeting for the audience that would buy our product, they are still not going to convert because your competitors have better images. Long story short, again, this was one of those things when technically we did right the work. However, for us to make sure that not only we can replicate last year's success, but we can achieve growth and additional market share, it was hard. So then we parted away, and then it was everything. It was okay, they stick with whatever they thought is best. And we were like, yes, we did our best. However, this is outside of our scope of work, which was only advertising. All right, again, a very, very long answer, but hope that this thoroughness, it made you understand on why, even if sometimes a relationship might fail, even if the technically agency is doing the work. Okay, next question. What are the red flags? Okay, so these are all agency questions. Let me actually prioritize quickly more Amazon ads, and then I'm coming back to agencies, okay? So the next question is, when should I stop PPC campaigns and what happens if I do? Great question. And here, basically, any campaign is a hypothesis. So whenever you would start the campaign, you're just hoping to get the results that you're looking for. And for that, you have specific evidence. If I'm going to, for example, in exact match target this exact keyword that's describing my product, I have this water bottle in front of me, purified water. So if I'm going to target purified water keyword in exact match, whoever is going to come on Amazon and look for my product, they're going to find and purchase my product, right? So that would be the ideal of whenever something works well. Now, what can happen here is that also whenever someone comes and they're looking for that specific keyword and there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 more or 50 more at least on the first page of Amazon, competitors are going to show up. Then they're going to choose quickly within 3 to 5 seconds which one should I click on, right? And that is not anymore Amazon ads issue, that is creative issue. So your question, where should you stop PPC campaigns and what happens if you do? You should stop your campaigns when you see that they're inefficient and or they're not anymore part of the strategy. Example, we just onboarded last week an account that has had a different management, they took over and they had their own strategy and so on. However, the goal of the brand was to reduce ACOS, and whatever the previous management did, they did not reduce ACOS. They created more ads and they just piled up more and more campaigns. The story, why that is meaningful. So the long story short, in that case, many of the campaigns we stopped because we knew clearly that even if these are new campaigns, they are not anymore within the plan that we had for the account, which was profitability. So in that scenario, we stopped everything that was new, that did not produce the sales velocity and or spend velocity we were expecting to produce for this brand. And then we said, okay, these campaigns, yes, it was set up by the previous management, still they fall within our profitability goal, we kept them on. The campaigns that were not anymore a good fit, we paused them. Now, if you are managing your own account and you're asking this question, then you should be considering, when I created this campaign, why did I create it? And if I created this campaign, is still within the purpose of why I created the campaign, right? Because if, let's say, 2 years ago you created a branded you targeted your own brand, so you created brand defense campaigns for yourself. That should also be the strategy for this year. It's nothing different. But if you were just testing something, let's say AMC audience just came out and you created an account with that structure of adding an AMC audience. Since then, lots of things change. That campaign right now is on a weekly basis, maybe it's producing 1-2 sales at 200% ACOS. So it's not really the result that you're looking for. That is considered an old strategy. That is campaign that you should be pausing. Let me know if that answered your question. Right, next question is, still provider question, skipping just for a moment. So I love this question. I'm going to read it out loud. And the reason why I love it is because people are looking for perfection when in fact there's no such thing as perfection. It can be a hypothesis with the option of, hey, I want this work. So the question is, what are the steps to create an Amazon PPC campaign that's set up for success from day one? The first metric for me personally and for our agency and for our account manager is to make sure that there is a purpose behind the campaign. If there's no purpose behind the campaign should not exist. Allow to explain. There are 5 strategies we're running in ScaleWave. First is going to be protect everything that is branded term, branded keyword, our own products. We are going to run ads for that. That is always the strategy. Then we have the strategy of conquering. And here we would be wanting to piggyback on other competitors' listings that are where we have a competitive advantage against, right? Then the next is going to be rank. So here, these are keywords that already proven themselves. They produced at least 2 to 3 orders within a week that we can firmly say, if I'm going to move this keyword within an exact match campaign, for example, then I am expecting to produce at least similar results than it was in other campaigns. Then we have dominate as a 4th strategy. Here we're talking about placement modifiers. And just because this is just a short parenthesis of what I'm seeing is going on, especially this account that I was mentioning, we took over last week. They use tons of modifiers, of bid modifiers. I'm like, why, So there were placement modifier, top of search, rest of search, and product pages. And like, this is not a dominate campaign. So actually we had to hard step back and realize what did they did here, because they had no proof. They just created the campaigns. They had no proof that that's going to work. So why did they even adjusted the placement modifiers? Because usually placement modifiers are going to be adjusted based on at least 30 data of performance, So when I'm talking about dominate campaigns, I'm not talking about you're just starting a campaign and just making sure that you're going to throw all these placement modifiers, which is not ideal. And especially if you're manually optimizing your bids, it's going to throw you off so much, and you're going to bleed so much money because you're not controlling the bid effectively. So in that case, what I'm talking about, dominate campaign, I'm talking for this particular keyword, we already have proof for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 30 days that this works well for us. Only then are we going to modify our placement, right? And then we have the discovery campaigns. This is a fifth strategy. So when it comes down to this strategy, we are going to allow anything that is not exact match. So auto campaigns, broad modified, phase match, category match. Those are the ones that we are going to use in order to discover either the same keywords that for which we are paying way more expensive in exact match, either new keywords that we did not know that our customers, our target audience is looking up when they are purchasing our product. Let me know if that helped when it comes to steps to create an Amazon PPC campaign that is set up for success. Really, it comes down to, if you don't know the purpose why you created the campaign, it's going to be very hard for you to argue on if the campaign is successful, you can replicate the success, and or if the campaign is not successful, to say, hey, this does not work for me. So this is why I am going today into more in depth when it comes down to questions, even if I realize this is only the fourth question that I'm answering. All right. So fourth question is, what are the red flags that tell me a provider is not the right partner for my brand? Love the question, and yes, some providers are not good partners for your brand. And allow me to answer from the point of view as me, as an agency owner. I also do hire providers. So for advertising for our own agency, I did outsource that. I hired, salespeople. I hired BDRs. I hired agencies that were specialized in Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing. So I did all that, and allow me to answer from that perspective. What I saw, that the first red flags that told me a provider is not the right partner for me, yet I did not notice, is that how quickly they wanted to close me, and then how quickly after they closed me, it was just like silence, And here it can be pro and con when it comes down to this process, but the onboarding, quicker the onboarding is, quicker you're seeing the results, quicker you get messages, quicker you get a conversation on this is what's going on right now, these are the things that we are working on right now, the more relief you have. And this is also something that we are replicating right now for ScaleWith, for our own agency, making sure that once we onboarded a brand, we are going to provide, these are the steps that we've done, this is what's going on, even if technically in our agreement we are writing down on these are the exact steps, this is how many days it's going to take, these are what is expected, these are the monthly goals, because even if we have specific goals for each client that we sign, we still have the same monthly goals of first month must be profitable, right? So we are creating profitability for the brand, and that can mean sometimes we are creating new campaigns, other times we don't, So this is why I'm saying it's really important from the first step to see at least what they are thinking, how they are thinking, what they achieved. And what we usually do, we're just like providing this full report of what are the things that we achieved within the first, 5 days of onboarding you. Why is this important? Is because what I noticed for me personally, it was very hard to let go of things that I took care of. Example, when it comes down to this was for our cold email marketing campaigns. And because I took over of cold email since day one, I learned the skills and then I applied it into my agency, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? And then I outsourced it, right? Because I wanted to learn of, hey, how does someone else who's doing this for 40 brands, 50 brands, and they know or supposedly know what they're doing, right? And what I noticed is that what happened in that case, and one of the red flags I should have noticed, is that one. I was not given like exactly what are they going to work on, but they just started working, and yeah, based on that, I would have now clearly known that the person who was doing this, they did not add it at least like a similar to what we're doing in Amazon ads negative list. They did not filter through. They were just, oh, these are the ton of people that we're going to engage in. It's like, no, they're not my right audience, So long story short, again, whenever you're hiring someone, I think the first thing that is going to be really a red flag and or should be is what is their communication? Did the communication change from whenever they sold you on their services until you got onboarded? If that is changing, that is a red flag. I would look up and I would just ask, hey, is there any change, or like what is going on? I would like to know, and so on. So at least you get feedback on that. But as an agency provider, I think that good customer service would be for you to be provided all that, so you don't have to reach out and ask. All right. So let me see if we're streaming on. Yes, you are live, vertical and horizontal. Okay, on YouTube. Last time we weren't, so that's why I was just double checking. Next question is, why is my Amazon ads campaign generating traffic but no sales? This is the most common question, and there could be two reasons for that. One, that is Amazon ads related. Second, that is not Amazon ads related. And first, what we would be doing, we are first checking what is not Amazon ads related. Again, we did not have this process beforehand. Now we do. Ask me why. Because it happened to us, right? So something that is not Amazon ads related can be if you're losing a buy box. In that case, your listing is not going to be shown on Amazon platform. Hence, even if you're running ads, it's not going to provide anything, right? So here in this sense, I believe that you're saying, why is my Amazon PPC campaign generating traffic but no sales? It's not anymore applicable to you because you do have traffic. I assume impressions, clicks, but no sales. So it's good to understand that, because if that happens, you would not even go to the buy box, but you would go to the are my ads relevant, which is the PPC, column, right? Checklist that I like to check out. Really important. Do you target the right audience? By the right audience, I mean, are these keywords exactly describing your product? 2, do you target a too broad or too narrow audience? In this case, what can happen is that you might be generating impressions, but the audience that you are trying to reach out to are not interested necessarily in exactly your product, right? So those are the first things that I would be looking into. 3, whoever you're targeting is really totally the wrong audience. Again, if you're selling lip balm, right? And if you would be even in Automatch and Relieva, so eye drops are coming up, clearly you know that first off, that is not the product that you want to sell. Hence, why you would have generated irrelevant clicks. So those are the first steps that I would be doing and going through. Is this PPC related? Is this not PPC related? Going through everything that is not PPC related, and only afterwards what is PPC related. All right. Next question. We are 30 minutes on time. Okay. Technical question, it goes, on average, how many clicks should I expect before getting a sale from Amazon ads? Technically, it should be a lower amount, a medium, and a high amount when it comes down to how quickly could you convert right away. And this is specifically for ads that are static ads, so not for video ads, right? Why is this important? Is because when it comes down to video ads, they have a different behavior. So allow me to first answer what should you be expecting when it comes down to getting clicks. So how many clicks? Say you have 10 clicks and then got a sale. That means you have a 10% conversion rate, meaning that 10 times someone clicked on that one keyword until they purchased the product. This is, of course, if you targeted an exact match, meaning if someone was looking for purified water, your product came up, they clicked on it, and then everyone, the 9% that came afterwards, did the same thing, and then the 10% actually eventually bought the product. So that is a 10% conversion rate. Now this is an exact match, and I'm simplifying it because in different match types it's going to act totally differently. So why is this important? It's because now you understand if I have 10% conversion rate, everyone who's going to click on the same keyword and then eventually purchase my product, then you can say, okay, so that is great. Now it can be above and it can be below that as well. Say if you have a more discovery type of campaign, which is, let's say, auto or broad or even phrase matches. In those scenarios, clicks are going to be way higher. So people are going to click way more often until they're going to purchase eventually the product. And here it doesn't has to do so much about the relevancy of did they click on the same thing? Yes, they did, but they searched with different keywords. So for example, someone might have searched with purified water. Someone else might have searched the brand Pure Aqua. Someone else has searched maybe reverse osmosis. So 3 different keywords. So technically you did got 3 clicks, but these are all 3 in different, categories considered because they are not exact matches to whatever you would have sold. So anything that is below 10%, as I was saying, lots of clicks. Anything that is above 10%, that is even better conversion rate. But generally, 10% conversion rate could become a good rule of thumbs. Great question. So have you been using the Amazon MCP with AI agents? Yeah, actually, this is a great question. I am working secretly right now in the background. And what I'm doing right now is making sure that everything that we do in ScaleWave is going to be updated, right? So this being also the MCPs with AI agents and so on. This is something that I'm working on right now in the background. Would be happy to show you like here on the screen next to me, because I have one large screen. I have 4 windows right now streaming. In one of them is actually something called ScaleWave Portal, Manager Portal. So this is something faced just only by our employees. And here I'm just going through, actually it's an exact client and there's no way for me to blur it out. Let me walk you through it though. It's going to be important for me so I understand what is the best things that are going on for my brand, and then what are the worst things, and then based on that, what are the next decisions. So here it's going to be an AI agent, but it's not going to be, it's going to just gather the data and only upon approval. So it's going to be a human in the loop. It's going to go further and going to take some actions. But definitely, I would highly encourage you, if you're right now if you're right now in the like blur when it comes down to AI and AI agents and MCPs, I would highly advise you to check it out. Why? Is because this became the norm. And right now I'm just a bit upset that last year I was the first one who created this amazing, platform with Snapple and for product image and so on. And I was not more vocal about it, because that was my first movers of advantage. Right now with ScaleWave, I'm just catching up with that. But to your question, yes, definitely we are. And I believe that even if you're not considering right away implementing, someone watching this video should be at least looking up on how would these AI agents and how would MCPs help your brand presence on Amazon. Okay. So next question is, we already answered the clicks question. Next is, what are the biggest mistakes that you're seeing sellers? What are the biggest mistakes that cause sellers lose money with Amazon ads, and how could I avoid them? So when it comes down to biggest mistakes, I love this question. I love to have this question whenever I start it out, and it's a great question to ask because what you're looking at is you want to understand what is bad, so you're not going to do what is bad rather than start the right way. Reason for that is that most of the time what I'm seeing most sellers lose money with Amazon ads is exactly what I just told you about. They are not going to look at, first off, asking this question. Then second, they are going to just follow the latest tips, tricks, whatever is available online and apply it to their account. And don't get me wrong here, I do believe that those are generally good things to know about. At the moment when you come to the, vision of, hey, I understand clearly what this trick means, what does it involves, how can I replicate this? Because right now, 6 years in Amazon ads and understanding Amazon ads, how they work and what are the things that are important, I can see on, hey, this latest tip, trick, and so on, is there something that's relevant that is going to help me or it's not? But 6 years ago, for me, it was like, that is exactly what I need to do in order to achieve more revenue, to be more profitable, and so on, which was not the case. So when I'm seeing what I'm seeing and what is one of the biggest mistakes that is happening is, if you don't know exactly what you're doing and you're still going to follow all the the last best practices that are on Amazon, and they're like on YouTube especially, like videos and so on, and you're going to apply them, it's great that you're learning. However, the downside of that is going to be, now that you learn, you don't know how to replicate success because you did not fail, the same way how when we are walking, and you are not going to learn how to walk properly until you fell. Because if you fell, now you understand, okay, so I just fell, what happened, what I did not do. Gravitation exists, but besides gravitation, is it something that I'm barely just starting to walk and I'm walking on like high inch, like 10 inches stilettos, or is it that I'm starting to run right away when I'm just barely starting to walk? So this is why I am considering, first you have to fail, and in order to fail, is without failing, is you're going to ask these type of questions. Okay, great. So what is Amazon ads and how does it actually work? Love these questions. We are streaming online and there are a lot of people who are completely new to what Amazon ads are, so happy to answer. So what basically Amazon ads are, imagine you're selling this product, this is your product and you are selling it, right? And you're selling it on a different platform, not on Amazon. Now what we would do and what Scaleweb does and where does Amazon ads come into is, you're bringing your product, you're making it available in Amazon, aka we have inventory, and then what we do on the scale we are going to create advertising for your product on Amazon. Now this is the same way how you would sell, for example, in Walmart, and where you have physical shelf, you have up the eye level and then down shelves, right? And on Amazon it's quite similar. Now, what we would be doing is we are going to advertise on digital shelves. And the first one is like the eye level here is going to be top of search placement, which is basically whatever someone sees quickly, easily, right away, it's more likely that they are going to click on it. And then more likely, if they are seeing whatever they were looking for, purchase it. Now, if we're advertising up top or on the bottom, those are rest of search placement and product pages placement. In that scenario, what we would be doing is, let's say you checked out this product, but you realize this is not the right product, scrolling through the product, and there another ad shows up that is maybe answering better in the main image of what you've been looking for, and then clicking on that. So very easily, what Amazon PPC is, what Amazon ads are, we are helping you with digital shelves, showing up your product there and bringing eyeballs to your product. Let me know if that helped. Okay, this is a good question I'm going to answer. It might be a bit longer because it's in depth and it's not a beginner question, but I think this is important because there might be many people who these are answering this is going to be useful. So allow me just a sec. So the question is, can you explain your process for niche / keyword research, which tools you use, Cerebro and Helium, data dive, etc., and what KPIs are you looking for? Search volume, pricing, etc. So when it comes down to keyword research process, we do like to use Helium 10, and Helium 10 is a third-party software. When it comes down to keyword research, specifically, it's really important if we're already selling the product, because if we're already selling the product, then we would look up what are our gaps when it comes down. People are purchasing our product, but we're not yet advertising for those keywords. So those are keywords that we would be starting to advertise on. So those are technically things that already work for us, but we are not yet advertising for. When it comes down to competitors, again, Helium 10 is a great tool for that. Data type also, it's just really different on pricing. One uses Jungle Scout, so data type is using Jungle Scout. When it comes down to search volume and so on, it's going to just differ a bit from Helium 10. However, they are both great for the purpose that I'm going to describe. There we are going to look up our competitors and see what are the keywords that they are converting on, which we could also consider advertising for our product. Now keep in mind that our competitors might be using their branded terms. So those are for sure keywords that we would not be wanting to advertise unless we consider we would have a competitive advantage on that. Example, if we are, let's say, diapers company. So if we're Pampers versus Huggies, right? Diapers is running right now through my mind quickly. We have a 3-month-old. When it comes down to those type of companies, they are the big names. So once that Huggies is going to target Pampers, that means that they want to get additional market share, right? Right now, assumingly, we don't want to go that way right away because that probably is going to be unprofitable for us. We are not going to use our competitors' branded keywords, but keywords that are relevant for our product as well, and we see that they are selling, those are keywords that we're going to use. So that is for the keyword research phase. And what KPIs are you looking for? Search volume, pricing, etc. When it comes down to this, again, it's important to have similar pricing because what we noticed is that if a product is selling really well, just gave an example a few minutes ago. So we had this product that sold really well 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that is now not selling anymore well. And the way how we find out it's not selling anymore well is because when we added that specific keyword, we found our product, but we found also our product was $90 and the other products was $20, $30, $40 even. So they were way, way lower on price, and people who were not so much on, hey, this is high quality, like durable and so on, that our product was, they preferred something that is cheap just to test it right away, even if they like they were selling similar products to ours, not the same quality, but similar products, they would convert, right? So this is why it's important also when it comes down to KPIs. Yes, you might be targeting the same keywords as your competitors are making their sales on, but if they are $9 and you're 30 or 40 or 100, highly likelihood that they are going to convert quicker just because of their pricing. When it comes down to search volume, this is one of those things that search volume is not so much of a factor for us, only if the search volume is really low. So everything that is under 300 or 500 search volume, that technically means that someone is searching it 1 to 2 times per day. So for us to make sales for low search volume keywords, it's going to be way more difficult than if we would be targeting a 2000 search volume keyword. Now keep in mind that 2000 search volume keyword also means that if we're going to advertise for that keyword, competitors are also going to advertise because there's search volume there. So they also hope their product are going to be seen. There, in that case, again, it's going to be a competitive advantage. Is your product actually better that if someone else is going to advertise with the same keyword and their product is not going to be purchased but yours, then that also can be an advantage. So when it comes down to KPIs and so on, it's really stay here, you stop here. It's really nuanced because it's really product dependent. Let me know if that helped, but I love that question because even if it's you, come here. I love that question because even if it's not super beginner question, it's a really good question that allows also beginners to think. Okay, next question. What time it is? 47. We're going to wrap up. There are two more questions that are kind of similar. Shh. You. No, you're going to stay here. Come here. Come stay with me. The moment that I'm going to let you out, you're going to cry to come back. Yes. Welcome to our life. Yeah, you can go out. Fine. You can go out. You're not coming back anymore, though. Stay there. Yeah, life is happening, you know. So, two more questions, and then we're going to wrap up. These questions are similar in nature because they're asking about the same topic. I'm going to answer for the first question and then the second one, and then we're going to wrap up. So the first question is, what does an Amazon PPC virtual assistant typically do, and when should I hire a virtual assistant to help manage my Amazon ads? These are two questions. I consider them two. I'm going to answer first the first one. So what does an Amazon PPC virtual assistant typically do? Basically, when we are talking about virtual assistant, we are talking about someone who would hire that it's not, that's remotely hired, right? And here, when it comes down to virtual assistant, typically they might be doing anything that is ads related, that either you taught them how to do it, either they already have the skill and they're going to do it for you. Now, the second question is, when should I hire a virtual assistant to help manage my Amazon ads? And here I'm going to answer not only when should you hire a virtual assistant, which basically you would hire your own employee, maybe your own freelancer or full-timer, or even an agency to take over your ads. So when should you hire this person? I do believe that you should hire this person is if you know what you're doing, first off, when it comes down for Amazon ads, right? So you have already your setup, you already know what works, what doesn't, you're creating an SOP, a process on how you're doing things, and then this person is going to be trained and installed within them on how you like things to be done, and that's what they're going to do. So in that case, they can take over for you. When it comes down to when should you hire this person, is I believe whenever you consider that, first off, you already know what to do, how to do in order to train someone, because training someone is really important, unless you're hiring someone who you're not training and they are going to run their own strategy and their own, they have their own systems in place. And why am I saying this is because first thing that I learned personally when we started hiring out people is that everyone was saying, oh, hire that out, but no one was telling me that if I'm going to hire this out, I genuinely have to train someone on the things that I do, and the way how I'm doing things, either if they had the skills, either if they did not have the skills, and it was a huge time investment on my end, or if I hired someone who already knew how it's done, so they were strategic, they were maybe an agency, they already had the processes in place. So there I just have to understand the process enough to see if they are BSing or if they are doing the job. Anyhow, if we grew in revenue, if we got booked calls, if we got more leads, then clearly, because those are the jobs that I hired for external agencies, then clearly they did the job. So I believe first off, when should you hire is realistically look on your end. Is there anyone else whose time is better invested in your advertising, in managing your ads, or is it you who should be still running your ads? And then you're just going to start and just put together a quick list on how you like things to be done, and only that hire them. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you being here. And yes, these sessions are live every Monday from 1 p.m. EDT, and we're going to run them. If you're a brand owner who right now is thinking like, okay, what should I do next with my brand? These are my goals. Right now, I am way far from those goals. How can I achieve success? More than happy to chat on a quick call. We would be just giving a quick audit to whatever is going on already within your brand. So we're not going to, reinvent the wheel, but whatever is going on right now in your brand and which are the next action steps that you should be doing in order to achieve that goal. Again, if you see value in this, feel free to also join me next week. If you would like to have a quick audit of your account, feel free to click in the comment section. We're going to leave a quick booking link with me or someone from my team, and you can arrange a meeting with us. Thank you so much once again for joining. See you next Monday when we are going to be back with more Amazon ads questions being answered. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.